I think at some point we have to recognize the fact that players like Casemiro are no longer, inspired to play to win these trophies anymore because
they've done it before.
The
hunger is subsided somehow.
Exactly, and also the respect for the manager obviously dwindles as the season go by because you're a player who used to be coached by some of the best in the world. You had Jose Mourinho, you had Carlo Ancelotti, you had Zinedine Zidane. Now you're sitting there being coached by Erik ten Hag, and no disrespect to him, but how does he handle that dressing room?
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous! It's an absolute net buster.
Hello and welcome to the Diski preview show where we talk all things football. My name is yours truly, Mr. E, and I'm joined in the studio by yours truly as well, Mr. Mo.
we have to start by saying welcome back, Mr. E.
Oh yeah. I was on a sabbatical, by the way. I was dealing with a few things, trying to research more about sport and what we can give our viewers out there.
Don't worry, we took good care of them while you were gone.
With Otisha.
No one's left. We've actually grown. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking so much. Thank you so much for commenting. And I just want to remind you, if you have not joined the Betfred family, make sure to go to betfred.co.za. If it's your first time, sign up and you will be in line to win to get yourself deposit match to the value of 5,000 Rand and also up to 500 free spins. So make sure that you don't miss out on that opportunity.
Yes. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the big games that will be headlining the weekend. And our story or our show today starts off at Old Trafford, where Manchester United will be locking horns with Liverpool. And then from there, we're going to go straight to Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal will be hosting Brighton, while West Ham will battle it out with the Citizens. That's Manchester City, and that game is going to take place at the London City. What do you think of this weekend's games?
It's going to be a big one. I think this weekend is one of those where we don't even have all the big games covered because we also have Newcastle's going to be taking on Tottenham Hotspurs. So big games everywhere you look.
That's another big one to be on the lookout for.
It's going to be a big weekend. So make sure to stay tuned. Let's get right into the first game. Ranjan, Mr. E.
Yeah. You want us to do it right now? You didn't tell them to comment and subscribe.
I did thank them to like, comment, and subscribe. Did you not hear me say thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, thank you for subscribing? Because the channel is growing. We're up to 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. And also, the views have also been looking good, especially for the local content. So if you are a subscribed member and you do watch all our content, thank you so much for supporting us.
Okay, let's go straight to our first game. It's Manchester United taking on Liverpool. And by the way, Manchester United, they finished 8th last season, right? Yes, that finished 8th.
Why are you choosing violence?
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at the very first game that we'll be talking about. That's Manchester United versus Liverpool. Now let's take a look at our first featured game. It's at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford, where Manchester United will be playing against Liverpool. I think this is going to be the first test for the new manager at Liverpool.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test. But don't forget that these managers have met before. And one thing that a lot of people are actually talking about when it comes to this match is that there's history between these two managers. I mean, one was coaching Ajax, Amsterdam. The other one was coaching Feyenoord. And he's also coached other teams in the Netherlands. So it's going to be a match where it's a reuniting of two managers, but they now managing in a different league.
I hear you more. But one thing that I'm going to tell you is one of the managers is struggling. And I don't know why he's still there at Manchester United this year. Season.
Mr. E, you look at the landscape of managers that are available right now in Europe specifically. For a team as big as Manchester United, who's going to come in and fill those shoes? I mean, they've tried everyone. They've tried your Jose Mourinho. They've given everyone a chance. You know what I mean? So now, at this point, you're asking them to do a lot if you're asking them to find a replacement for Erik ten Hag at this point. The reality is that they're not really going to have a chance or an opportunity to find someone who can fill those shoes, especially this short notice. You know what I mean?
It's been difficult at Old Trafford, I can tell you. I mean, like since the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo, I thought that was around about the same time that Eric came in to the picture as far as Manchester United was concerned. I thought maybe he was going to build up on that, but still the project doesn't seem to be making any headway in terms of success.
Mr. E, my argument when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was still in charge was why get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer while he was still on the brink of doing something great. He did
as a former
exactly
player.
He did what you call Mikel Arteta is doing at Arsenal at the moment, where he finished second behind Manchester City. If you look at the charges that everybody was discussing, they were saying that if they do reverse all those titles that City got, United will get a title, and that was during Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time. So yes, Erik ten Hag has finished second, has won trophies, but one thing about him is that in small matches, and I remember when Jurgen Klopp first joined Liverpool, Liverpool would go in, blow away Manchester United, blow away Manchester City, blow away Tottenham Hotspurs. But then they'll face
small teams.
Aston Villa, back when Aston Villa was still small, Brighton or a small team, and then they'll struggle. And that's exactly what's happening with Manchester United. So the coach, if you look at it this weekend, they're playing Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if you find that this team is going to go there and do something very good against Liverpool.
And especially coming from a defeat. Remember the last game they lost to, was it Brighton?
Yes, they did lose to Brighton in the last game. And for me personally, I just think that this coach, with all due respect to him and the project that he's got running at Manchester United, he's got rid of all the players that we thought weren't his players. He has his generation of players. And now it's time for you to cash in on the investment. And it's not happening. I mean, you sign in players.
Are simply not coming all the way.
But you sign players like Euro, he arrives, he's injured same time.
You now you have to put him aside and then think of maybe using him at a later stage. But time is moving.
But
this is the second round of matches now. Is it the second or third?
So third round of matches, if you're a Manchester United fan, you have to ask yourself one question: how many seasons have you been complaining about Harry Maguire? Right? You've complained and complained and complained. Hey. You've complained about him long time. But you ask yourself one question: he's still there.
He's still there. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. No one else wants him. We get it. But at the same time, your club has not moved far long enough for him to be sitting in the back
to be replaced by a better player, so to speak.
You understand? Onana has come into the shoes of David De Gea. Are we honestly going to say he's a better quality goalkeeper? Those are questions that Manchester United fans have to ask themselves. You're looking at a Manchester United that went in. That game could have ended 2-2. But they've come in now and they have Garnacho. Players who want to play for the club. They have. I mean, you're starting the season without a number 9. When you had Anthony Martial for many years, who didn't give you anything. No return on investment. He's now left. You know what I mean? It's pointless. Like, if you look at Manchester United, they've suffered from signing players, they didn't use them. Or even if they did use them, the players aren't quality. Mason Mount.
They didn't give them any results at all.
Mason Mount, where is he? Where is he? When he left Chelsea and they said he's going to United, we were expecting.
We thought maybe he was going to be the hero there.
They even gave him the number 7. The only signing, I think, from the past few years that Manchester United has made and that's paid dividends was Cavani. Edison Cavani was brilliant at United. He brought some pride back to the number 7 jersey at United. That was back on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time, by the way. Ronaldo arrived, they took the number 7, stripped it off Cavani, gave it back to Ronaldo, and that was the end of it. You understand?
That was the end of the jersey number 7 being influential and instrumental in Manchester United.
And for me personally, I just want to say that if you look at this Manchester United side, the FA Cup win really does mask. It's like, what do they say that saying? Putting makeup on a pig. It's basically made everyone forget just how bad things are. Because they win. It made people forget. Mr. E, these guys made it to the final of the FA Cup. Almost being knocked off by Coventry in the semi-final. They were this close to getting knocked out. The match before that, not impressive at all. So Buffy ngoncenga. You know what I mean?
Yellow line.
So they arrive at their destination, they win the trophy against Manchester City. They come in, they lose the Community Shield against Manchester City, who've lost it for the past 4 years. And now we wanna forget that. That's the thing about it. I really do believe that the only reason why Erik ten Hag still has his job, to answer your question, is the fact that there's the trophies that are coming in.
Besides the FA Cup the fact that they're not doing so well, but they've got something to show in their dressing room.
How do you explain that Manchester United finished 8th last season and the manager still has a job?
I think even finishing at position 5, you wouldn't last that long.
You understand?
At Manchester United.
You didn't qualify for Europe. You had to qualify on back door.
As you are saying that he's got something to show for the whole season. He might not have played very well and maybe he might have finished at position number 8. But if you had to ask him, what did you achieve? He would just open his cabinet and say, take a look at this.
Mr. E, you have to think about Jose Mourinho. He still got sacked. He came home with the Europa League title. Still got sacked. You understand? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came back with those FA Cups. Also got sacked. So Ten Hag ugeza ngani?
Hey,
Usinike nathi sigeze ngayo.
Somewhere in Hammanskraal, there's somebody who helps coaches a lot. Maybe it does fly there.
we see flights SA to Manchester United.
To Manchester, yeah. But on the other hand, let's take a look at the Liverpool team. That's I think it's going to be Arne Slot. Yeah, I think it's going to be his third game in charge. Do you think he's going to be able to fit in and fill in those big shoes left by Klopp?
I think Arne Slot walks into a perfect situation. He has 4 of the best players in their position in the league. He has arguably the league's best goalkeeper in Alisson Becker. He has arguably the league's best right back in Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I've seen now recently under Arne Slot actually doing some defending. They have the best midfield. If you look at McAllister, Szoboszlai combination,
all-round Polish team.
The addition of Gravenbach, when everybody was like, they need to sign the CDM. Zubemendi. He puts Gravenbach there. People are now quiet about that argument. He is arguably the best goal scorer and the best winger in the league through Mo Salah, and it's one of those things where, like, I understand people were asking why is Liverpool not signing any players, but Arne Slot is walking into a project that's on the way. So why must he stop the train to take the wheels off?
To tell
ask
where the train is going to.
So you're walking into a situation where half these players you would have signed anyway if they were available. So Bosley, McAllister, Gravenberch, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez he's still Gakpo. You look at the Liverpool side, and I think one thing about, we talked about these two managers, but one thing that Arne Slot has that Ten Hag doesn't have is options. You understand? In Luis Diaz, he has a dribbling fast winger. In Gakpo, he has a direct winger who can just cut inside and take the shot. He has a Harvey Elliott who's younger than Mo Salah, brilliant left foot, who can come into that position at any time and still play that good.
And there's also that youngster, Nyoni.
Yes,
what's
Nyoni.
his name? Trey.
Trey Nyoni. Brilliant boy. But physically, I don't think he's ready for the Premier League. And that's why he's not going to get
might
game
need
time.
a couple of years.
KGs and he's still growing. So that was just a showing shortly. But to be honest with you, I think Liverpool, Arne Slot walked into a perfect situation. I mean, first game of the season, he lines a Jurgen Klopp 11. But they don't play like Jurgen Klopp's 11. They're dominating possession. They're starting from a lot deeper. And that's the one thing that makes me so excited about Arne Slot at Liverpool, was that many managers would have walked into that situation and said, I want my former player. Arne Slot recognized that he's playing in a different league. He's playing at a higher league with bigger talents. And these players have won everything. How do you convince them to stay hungry? How do you walk in there and tell Trent Alexander-Arnold?
They've won everything.
They've won everything
to be won anyway.
And also, how do you convince Trent Alexander-Arnold to stay?
Mo Salah.
While Real Madrid is calling and saying, Chief, we want you to come. You understand? So he's come into, I think, a perfect situation, and it's shown. 2 matches, no goals conceded, 4 goals scored. He's won both games 2-0, home and away. They've dominated possession. They've played from a lot deeper. Alisson Becker is being used a lot more in build-up play. You look at how they're scoring their goals. I mean, their goals are clean cut. You understand? So it's a team that has the elements of that gang pressing football. We know it, but they also have the elements of tiki-taka, as you could say, which is possession football. So a lot of it is gonna be down to whether or not the players adopt his style, and so far they have. And I still think that when it goes into the rest of the season, if he chooses his trophies wisely, because with a squad like that, you might think you can win everything, but if he chooses his trophies wisely and says, Nfuni Premier League, Nfuni FA Cup, he can come out with both those trophies. If he thinks that he can go on to win the Champions League with the squad, chances are he will get to the final. But at the same time, he must be very cognizant of the fact that he will waste a lot of talents in terms of injuries, because that is a very demanding task to try and compete at the highest level in all these tournaments. So that's why I think we haven't seen the likes of Trey Nyoni yet. We haven't seen Harvey Elliott yet. I think those players are being saved for the Carabao Cup. Those players will be saved for some European matches, because you know that Salah and that backbone will want to play in the Champions League.
Exactly. No, thank you very much for breaking it down for us. We always trust you to give us the best in these analyses. Now, I would have loved to say it was going to be an acid test for Arne Slot, but I don't think so. Looking at the way Manchester United played last year and the way they played in their last game, I don't think it's going to be. But let's hear it from the man himself, Mr. Mo. Manchester United will be taking on Liverpool. Who do you think is going to walk away victorious when the two teams meet at the Theatre of Dreams? Well, and who's going to have dreams and who's going to have a nightmare?
Well, I'll refer back to pre-season when Manchester United faced Liverpool.
Yeah.
That side was a lot different. Gravenberch was the anchor in the midfield, Curtis Jones to the left, Harvey Elliott to the right. I think that's going to be the lineup going into the Carabao Cup. Fabio Carvalho's obviously moved on to Brentford. He played against them on the weekend. Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah were still in that side.
Yeah.
And obviously for Manchester United, they fielded a very interesting side. Johnny Evans played, Victor Lindelof played, Andre Onana played. That was the spine of the defense.
Yeah.
And then in the middle was Casemiro, Mason Mount played, Rashford played. So I think if anything, Liverpool are coming into this game a lot stronger because they didn't have their first choice goalkeeper in the friendly.
Yeah.
They didn't have their first choice centre back in Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
Trent was still gone on international duty. So I think it's gonna be a Liverpool win. It won't be easy, I'll say, as far as the match will go.
Yeah.
But I don't think there will be a goal scored from Manchester United. And the reason being, not
so
that
you're not giving them a chance to score any goal at all.
No. Don't say it like that, Mr. E. If you look at how Manchester United lost the previous game, they're not creating clean-cut chances. Most of Man United's chances that are created in front of the goals are snapshots. So basically,
they try and
Agnes
card.
Yeah, so if Polamal figure, you have to shoot.
You have to shoot. Why they think you're gonna pass the ball? Just try and squeeze it in.
So that's the thing. They're not playing through a routined style of play. They're playing almost as if like they're in a hurry to get the ball forward. And once the ball gets there, whoever's there must just shoot.
So the absence of Benny McCarthy can be felt right now.
I think that one was at some point it worked at the start of the season of last year
when Martial was getting to score goals. We
were seeing a lot more goals from them. I mean, but you look at this year, how many goals has Manchester United scored? They've scored 2, they've conceded 2. The goal difference is currently sitting on 0. So it tells you a lot about where they are at the moment. I don't think their problem is going forward. Their problem is also in defense. And now, if you look at their midfield as well, I just want to raise a point from the previous match they played. Manchester United, their midfield has not been absolutely solid. I think at some point we have to recognize the fact that players like Casemiro are no longer, inspired to play to win these trophies anymore because
they've done it before.
The
hunger is subsided somehow.
Exactly, and also the respect for the manager obviously dwindles as the season go by because you're a player who used to be coached by some of the best in the world. You had Jose Mourinho, you had Carlo Ancelotti, you had Zinedine Zidane. Now you're sitting there being coached by Erik ten Hag, and no disrespect to him, but how does he handle that dressing room? I mean, Casemiro's lining up next to Kobe Maino, and he's lining up next to Mason Mount. And he's supposed to be a senior player, but you see him even before the games. He's not that interested anymore. I mean, you have no stability at Manchester United. I mean, with Real Madrid for about 3 seasons, you knew how the lineup was going to look like. Even now, where they're going through changes, you can expect that for the next 4 seasons, it will be just like that. How long has Vinicius Jr. been scoring goals for Real Madrid? How long has Rodrigo been scoring goals for Real Madrid? Right now, Manchester United, who's the goal scorer? Who are the goals coming from? Who are the assists coming from? And that's, I remember Utisha said Casemiro is the anchor of the team, but what is he anchoring? Because
when there is nothing to show at the end of the game,
Mr. E, let me just wrap it up by saying this: if you play in the midfield, you have an outlet. You understand? If you look at Liverpool, there's this pass that goes from Van Dijk to Salah.
And then
there's like 50,000 passes like that. There's this pass that goes from Trent to Robertson. There's been like 50 passes like that. From Manchester United, there's no such. You understand? Every time they go forward, you feel like there'll be a new pattern.
You don't even know what to expect.
You can't sit there and say.
And later on, you don't even know if the players know what is expected of them.
Exactly. So now imagine if Casemiro is relying on Bruno Fernandes. He's going to okay, I'm going to pass to Bruno. Bruno will turn around and take it forward. Bruno is now playing number 9. He has to now find Mason Mount. Mason Mount's positioning is not the same. Mason Mount's body position is not the same. Mason Mount is not going to turn and run the way Bruno runs. You understand? Rashford is not going to run the way he usually runs because Mason wants me to drop back. You understand? So he's taken his team and he's tinkered until ayimosha. It's fana lo mchita uthi ayimfethu ngiyoyilungisa lento le. And then after 6 months uyabuya usalungisa because he breaks here. Because I think honestly speaking, Manchester United must come to grips with the fact that there's a stagnation going on. Harry Maguire should have left long time ago. He's still there. You're letting go of the
usadlisa namanje.
Instead of getting rid of him, you get rid of Wan Bissaka. No, we could talk the whole day about this.
Yeah, okay. So,
and Anthony.
Yeah, okay, it's okay, it's all right.
And Anthony.
That's the analysis of Mr. Moore. He's telling it as it is. He's not happy with the way things are happening at Manchester United. He's saying it's going to turn into a theatre, or rather, the Old Trafford is going to turn into a theatre of nightmares for Eric Ten Hag. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at our next featured game. It's Arsenal, the Gunners, that we're playing against Brighton. We are still watching the Diski preview show, and I still have Mr. Moore in the house and in the studio. Next time, I think we'll have to bring in Uchisha with Diski.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we definitely.
Just to balance the
because I remember last season, I think one of the first shows that we had, he was here. He told us that Manchester City was going to win the league. So we still want his prediction. But let's take a look at our second featured game now. It's Arsenal, the Gunners. They will be entertaining Brighton at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal, last year, what happened? What went wrong?
Mr. E.
For the greater part of the season, I thought they had it in their hands.
Well, Mr. E, there's a lot of conversations that have been had around Arsenal, and many, I think at this point, will point to the fact that maybe they don't have the right recipe of players.
Yeah.
Or maybe they have the right recipe of players, but they don't have that winning factor. They don't have that edge.
Or maybe Arteta, maybe he still needs to be groomed a little bit.
Mr. E, the reality is that what happened to Arsenal is the same that happened to Liverpool. Arsenal got 82 points. Wasn't enough to win the league.
Yeah.
They saw Man City win the league with 85 points. The next season they got 85 points. Man City went on and won the league with 91 points. So you have to be honest, Man City were just that good. And like I said, what I was saying about Manchester United is the truth for Manchester City.
Yeah.
It's been how many seasons now of us seeing Ruben Diaz at the back, Ederson at the back, Kevin De Bruyne in the middle, alongside
a whole lot of consistency
Rodri,
in that.
A whole lot of consistency.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about teams like that, because Arsenal, if you look at what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, he's built the core of the team. So he has a core. He knows this is my goalkeeper, these are my centre backs, this is now my midfield, this is my creative midfielder, this is my strikers, these are my wingers.
Yeah.
And then from there, he has players who will come in and fill the gaps. And he's been making very nice signings. I mean, the likes of Declan Rice arriving, big impact last season. His
checkbook is always open. I mean,
you understand?
Yeah.
And you look at, I forgot the guy who plays, man, on the wing. What's his name, man? He always comes in as an impact player. I forget his name, but I'll get it just now.
Yeah.
But you look at that kind of setup, they do a lot in terms of, you know, the building of Arsenal. But the reality is that Arsenal are just playing at a bad time to play in the Premier League.
Yeah. Why is it a bad time? Is it because Manchester City?
Manchester City.
It's showing them flames. I mean, is it the equivalent of having Kaizer Chiefs playing in the same league with Mamelodi Sundowns, whereby Mamelodi Sundowns is taking everything that is available, almost everything.
It's not.
Yeah.
If you look at leagues that had one team dominate, like Juventus with the Serie A, Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. The difference between this situation and those situations is that there's not a 10-point gap.
Okay, yeah.
You understand? Juventus was beating teams with 10 points.
Yeah.
You know, they'll win the league with 2 months to go.
A couple of games to spare.
They'll play the knockout stages of the Champions League knowing the league is wrapped up. But here, Arsenal, Liverpool have been trying. Manchester United have been trying. It's been
and I've seen a trend over the past few years whereby Manchester City, when the season is just about to end, they just overtake all these teams and just stay at the top there until the end of, or rather until the last day of the season.
I think Pep Guardiola has gotten to a point in his coaching where he chooses the trophy he wants to win.
Yeah.
Yes, then I think last season he took an executive decision to say, we don't want to lose the FA Cup.
The FA Cup.
But at this point, we'll get more joy from winning the league.
Yeah.
So you invest your best resources there.
Where your happiness is going
exactly.
to be. Yeah.
So I think he's won everything. He's won it 10 times already. You understand? Now it's a matter of he's got a well-oiled machine. The players know each other and all that stuff. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta is trying to adopt at Arsenal. I mean, like I was saying, the player I was trying to mention was Losandro Trossard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you look at Arsenal now, I mean, we have an idea of how the team's going to line up every week. I think
are they getting too predictable?
No, they're not getting too predictable.
Yeah,
I think,
but it's just the same personnel, maybe week in, week out.
What you have to give them the flowers for is the win against Aston Villa. Don't forget that before this game, they had troubles against Aston Villa. Not only that, against Unai Emery, but they managed to get the win. So I think Arsenal this season are coming back stronger. There's a greater belief in them, and Mikel Arteta, being a young coach, he has to now learn to start choosing which trophies he can take home. You know, if you can see that the league is impossible, leave the league. Focus on the FA Cup.
At times you need to box intelligently.
Yeah, you have to box intelligently.
Throw your punches everywhere.
I always refer to the story that I remember when I was starting my journey doing TV and covering games and doing analysis.
Yeah,
there was the conversation we once had after Inter Milan got knocked out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
Without even qualifying for the knockout stages. And I remember me and Obi sat there and I was like, Obi, I know, man. These guys, they're struggling now. Look at how they got knocked out of the Champions League. Half the season later, this guy's won the league.
Yeah.
And the moment he got knocked out of the Champions League, they asked him, now that you've been knocked out of the Champions League, what's next? And all he said was, we just need to focus.
Yeah.
We just need to focus on the league.
Yeah.
Every game now in the league has turned into a final.
We need to pick up as many points, or rather as many maximum points as possible.
And I was like, Antonio Conte, why would he say that?
Yeah.
And exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And don't forget, at that time, Juventus had won the league, I think, 9 times in a row.
Yeah.
And he said every game now was a final. Because Juventus had the Champions League to worry about. He didn't.
Yeah.
So he played every game like it's a final, Chief. All the way to the end of the season.
Right,
and
they won until they won the league.
And then they broke that dominance of Juventus. Since then, Juventus has not been able to win back-to-back leagues.
It's no longer the same.
So Mikel Arteta needs to take a leaf out of that book.
Yeah.
He has to choose. If he's going to go for the league, forget the Champions League.
Now, so definitely, he's supposed to throw all his resources for the. I think this time for the league title, because I think the dominance of Manchester City is a big worrying factor in the EPL right now. Who's going to stop Manchester City?
Yeah,
and the two teams that always come up, it's Arsenal and Liverpool.
And I think between
Man U icon.
I think between the two teams, you'd have to say that it's Liverpool who might break the curse.
Yeah,
yes, then who might break the dominance of
because Man City.
You're taking a well-oiled machine, you're giving it a different sauce.
Yeah.
You understand? There's no way. There's no way. I think I'm not saying that Liverpool's gonna go win the league, but I just think what we've seen from the first 2 matches, obviously it's still early days.
It's still early days,
The fact that this guy's not used everything at his disposal.
Yeah. And this is where he finds himself right now. I mean,
the fact that he has 2
position number 2, right?
Nah, 4.
Position number 4, but 2
because it's Manchester City, it's Arsenal, Brighton, Liverpool.
And Liverpool. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Brighton that's going to be facing Arsenal, currently sitting at position number 2.
100%. So Brighton is also a very interesting case because, for a long time, coaches...
I used to like Brighton, but from the day they released Upesitao, I don't even watch their games anymore. So it's the reason why I would it's the reason why I would try and sit in front of that TV there to watch Brighton, because I know that I'll be seeing Tao running there. But now, you know what? They might as well lose this game. It's fine.
But you see, Brighton for them, it's a matter of you get young players, you convince them of a brighter future. You take older players, you convince them of a stable future, and then you have yourself a winning recipe. I mean, James Milner's in that side, Danny Welbeck is in that side. Both those players are starting, and then around them you look at the core of young players that are playing for Brighton. You have the likes of your João Pedro.
Pedro.
He was on the score sheet last game out. So what makes Brighton so dangerous is that they're not under pressure to win anything.
And
they're under pressure to survive.
The fact that last year they finished the league in the second half, the bottom half.
The bottom half.
11, I think. So they don't have anything to worry about. They just want to be there.
For them, I think when they came to the start of the season and they were looking at the fixture list, they were like, okay, we start the season now off at Everton, then we followed with United. We've got an EFL Cup match, and then we have Arsenal coming up next. What they've done so far is the perfect start to the season. Because they've won those 2 games where they thought maybe we might draw here, we might lose here. Now they've got maximum points. Now they want to look at Arsenal and think to themselves, if we could do that to these guys.
and Brighton is capable of doing that. I mean, we've seen Brighton disappointing some of the big teams. So they are really capable. I mean, they can disappoint Arsenal at any given time.
100%. And that's the thing. Like the same thing that happened at Liverpool, same oiled machine, different sauce. Same thing here at Brighton. New manager. What has the new manager done? He's taken those same old players.
Yeah.
He's introduced a new style of play.
Yeah.
If you're watching games trying to prepare for this match, saying, no, we've done some video analysis of how this player moves.
This is how they're going to play. This is how they're going to line up and things like that.
It's a brand new team.
Yeah.
It's a brand new manager.
Difficult to predict how they'll play. I mean, the tactics
and that's where the success of Brighton currently lies. If they can go in there and surprise Arsenal, trust me when I say to you that this is going to be an easy win for them. But if they can't surprise Arsenal, the best they can do is respect Arsenal and try to walk away with a draw. I think that's the most reasonable thing you can do as a coach. You say, listen, let's not risk too much. If we get one goal and we lead, let's protect the one goal.
Let's protect the one goal.
If we lose, you understand, one goal, it's now a draw. We can walk away with 1 point
with
each.
something.
So I mean, it's quite interesting.
Is that going to be your prediction for this? Just wanted to find out because we for all our listeners who will want to place bets for this game here, you are saying Brighton might come up with something against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium.
I'm saying it's going to be a draw.
You are saying it's going to be a draw.
I'm saying it's going to be a draw.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you what my prediction is?
What is your prediction?
It's going to be an Arsenal 4-1 win.
4-1 win?
Yeah, so.
Okay, no, sure. I'll give it to you. No, I'll give it to you.
Those are our predictions today. I'm saying Arsenal is going to beat Brighton by 4-1, but he's saying it's going to be a big draw. Is it 1-1 or 0-0?
0-0.
0-0. There won't be any scores scored. Let's see in our next show who is going to get the predictions correct. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the last game that we have lined up for you. It's going to be West Ham that we're playing against the Citizens. Now let's quickly take a look at the third and final match, and it's all happening at the London City Stadium. Is it London Stadium or London City Stadium? I think it's one and the same thing.
Are you saying?
But it's going to be at London Stadium.
The London Stadium playing against City?
No. It's going to be happening at the London City Stadium.
All right.
It's West Ham United. They're going to be playing against the Citizens, and that game is going to take place at the London Stadium. First thing first.
Yeah.
Manchester City.
Yeah,
Perfect start to this year's campaign.
Not perfect. They've conceded a goal.
Okay. Almost.
Yeah,
perfect.
no.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the only teams with clean sheets is Liverpool and Arsenal.
And those are the teams to beat by Manchester City.
No, I'm just saying they just have clean sheets. Let's carry on with the conversation. Starting off with Manchester City. Obviously, at this point, you have to give them the flowers. Erling Haaland.
Yeah. And they've dominated the EPL. I mean, Manchester City. Everywhere you go, you just see that jersey there. The powder blue one. Manchester City. That's how they've dominated, and they've become so popular everywhere.
Yeah. I think, to be honest with you, Manchester City have, so far, their reputation has played a big factor. Ipswich Town scored a goal and then lost the lead in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just then, you understand that
that was a very, very big comeback for Manchester City.
If football was like basketball, you can ask for timeouts.
Yeah.
I think the coach would have been like, "Oh,
go and drink some juice.
Stop it right there.
We just want to enjoy this one nil lead.
Just okay. Yeah. We don't know how this happened.
Yeah, but maybe this is how we need to defend.
Come down.
Maybe we might stretch the 5 minutes to 10 minutes. I mean,
if we were playing a cast, we would have left. Drop one. Because honestly speaking, Ipswich Town, that goal was well scored. Manchester City looked like they were not ready for it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, Erling Haaland, boom, hat-trick.
Yeah.
And one thing about Erling Haaland, I will say is that I won't say that he has hat-tricks against small teams, but when it comes to a newly promoted side, Erling Haaland
punishes them. We are shy. I think I think you did mention one of the teams whereby they take a look at their fixtures for the whole year. I think he also does that. He takes a look at the fixture to say, I'm going to get a hat trick here, probably score 2 here, maybe 1 here. I might not score against maybe Wolves.
Liverpool, maybe assist.
Maybe an assist or 2.
Yeah, but honestly speaking, I mean, they're not having a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
They played against Chelsea. No one expected Chelsea to win that game. They played against Ipswich. No one expected Ipswich to win that game.
Yeah.
Next is West Ham. To be honest with you, no one's expecting West Ham to go on and win this game.
I also don't think West Ham is going to do much.
Especially because
that's a mean machine. Manchester City.
Especially because they also have an EFL Cup against Bournemouth midweek.
Yeah.
So it's hard to expect them to do anything against
to do any miracle at all.
But you can't write them off. It's West Ham at the end of the day. They can go in there and pick up a draw.
We've seen them doing that before. Yeah.
But honestly speaking, I just want to touch back on Pep Guardiola and his success. I think Pep Guardiola at this point, his love with the league is now starting to dwindle. He doesn't have that. But honestly speaking, it's because Jurgen Klopp made it interesting. Yeah, you understand? Yeah. There was a time when
big challenge for him.
There was a time when it was like, you guys have the league, we have the Champions League. Yeah. You understand? It was always that push and play that Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. Now that Jurgen Klopp has left, you ask yourself, where's the rivalry going to come from? The same way there was once.
But that's a good one there. I mean, like in terms of coaches, who's going to rival Pep Guardiola?
And you can't say Arne Slot. He's new.
You can't say Eric.
You can't say Eric, and you can't even say Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is student and master. At this point, Pep Guardiola is also probably thinking to himself, because you can't start the season and then boom, 2-0. Yeah. Yes, they're like, okay, cool, let me go try against Ipswich. They score one, you're like, oh, I should be stressing, then boom, hat-trick.
Yeah, just like that.
So it's almost like it's on autopilot now. Yeah. It's on autopilot, just throws up to work. Success is also sometimes, better because you get to a point where now you've created this thing and you have no enjoyment in it anymore, especially in the league. And I think Pep Guardiola at this moment, we've seen it last season where him as a coach, he gets excited for the Champions League now. Yeah. Instead, that's where he wants to play. Because in the league,
and I think he's so bored in that league. I mean, all the games that he's gonna play with his troops, it's just like any other game they've played before. I mean, there's nothing interesting. Maybe don't you think he should try and move over to to some of the big leagues there? Maybe go to Germany or maybe Spain.
But why would he? Why would he? I think when you look at Manchester City, you look at the Premier League, it's the best league in the world. There's no way but down from there. There's no way you can go and say, I'm gonna go challenge anything. I mean, the only thing that's why people are saying he must go back to Barcelona, but he's done that.
He's already been there.
He's done. And how many teams have Man City's budget? How many teams are gonna spend that kind of money for Pep Guardiola?
There's no team that can match Manchester City. I mean, those guys have got big purses.
Maybe Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe Paris
PSG.
Saint-Germain, he goes there, he takes the budget. But even there, the league is on autoplay. You just have to fight for the Champions League.
That's it.
At the same time, it's like, okay, fine, he's done all of this, but you have to ask yourself, I mean, the whole preseason we've seen him going to watch basketball. He's been watching different sports.
He's not even. It doesn't seem to be worried much about how the season is gonna pan out. I mean, like some of the coaches out expect them to be sitting, trying to draft, trying to come up with better tactics. But there he goes to watch something else.
I think, honestly speaking, for Pep Guardiola at this moment, and don't forget, he's not the kind of coach to graduate young players and put them full in the team. I mean, he's done that at Barcelona. But with Manchester City, he's gone into the checkbook whenever he needed talent. So I think for him, he just needs to go write a 12-page thesis, or 12-book thesis on how to do football right,
how to do things right in football.
Exactly, because I think after this is maybe the World Cup with Spain, maybe. But in all honesty, Spain has a good coach. You understand? I don't see him struggling against West Ham. I don't see him struggling against most team. I think Liverpool's going to be a new challenge, but I don't think he's going to go there and lose that game. Same with Manchester United. Same with we saw against Chelsea. But the reputation of Manchester City precedes them in the league. There's teams that, like we saw against Ipswich, where there's a big gulf in quality, but the psychological factor of playing against Manchester City
and wanting to win against a big team.
I saw the one goal that Erling Haaland scored. I saw him standing behind the defender. And then he starts to make his movement, and then he moves the defender around. Gets in front of the defender. Jumps and heads the ball into the back of the net.
That's it.
Tell me, would that happen against Liverpool with Van Dijk?
No. That wouldn't. Especially with Van Dijk. God.
Would that happen? Like, you look at these things and you think, these guys are ball watching. Don't forget, just last season, these guys were watching Manchester City tear up the Premier League. Now they're there.
They are there.
Here's Haaland, now.
Muyelo. Yeah.
You don't think that's going to affect you?
Yeah, it will, definitely. Because in terms of playing and in terms of thinking, remember, you need to be a quick thinker when you play the likes of that. So you're going to always be like a fraction of a second late in terms of thinking. By the time you try and react, he's gone. It's in.
But it's also one of those things where if you worship your opponent, I always think one of the hardest things, to to do with playing football at that level is to play against the Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah, somebody that you worship.
You idolize.
Yeah, you idolize. Yeah.
You play your football your whole life. I'm Messi. You Messi.
Yeah.
Here he is. You're marking him now.
Yeah. I mean,
so manje makafika
yeah.
now ufuna ukubona ukuthi uzoyenza.
You want to watch. You want to see just like everybody else who's in the stadium there.
And I think that's the one thing about what really tore Ipswich Town down. They just watched. They just watched Manchester City play football. And as a coach, that's the most difficult thing, to remind the players to switch back on, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, play.
Yeah, because it might be Man City, but it's just like any other team. Come on, that's Lale.
And then we're going to focus. There's Papayola, there's Kevin De Bruyne. It's like, let's say, for example, just an example.
Yeah.
If you, whatever career you're in, imagine you go in and you meet the highest ranked CEOs of that industry and field.
Yeah.
You don't want to just sit there and be like, oh, Nanglum cheat. Yo, Nanglum cheater.
It's him.
Oh, yeah,
like in person.
So West Ham, obviously, the players know Manchester City.
Yeah.
It'll be a bigger challenge. I think this is the biggest challenge that Man City have gotten this far.
Yeah.
And I think West Ham will actually give them some difficult times. But a draw or a win, has to be for Manchester City.
Manchester City. So in actual fact, you're giving this one to Manchester City.
100%.
I'm not going to give out any prediction on this game. My prediction was specifically for Arsenal and Brighton. And I still maintain that Arsenal is going to put 4 past Brighton. Yeah.
4. So, 4.
Those are the predictions of football. He's saying Manchester City is going to have an easy walk in the park when they play against West Ham. Let's quickly take a recap on today's matches. Let's see how we did in terms of predictions. Let's start off with the first one that's going to take place at Old Trafford, where Manchester United will be playing against Liverpool. What was your prediction?
1-0 to Liverpool, goal to be scored by Cody Gakpo.
Oh, that was so specific. Thank you very much. And the second game at Arsenal versus Brighton, the game that Arsenal is going to win by 4 goals to 1. What was your prediction?
Draw, 0-0.
Really? And the last one is going to be West Ham. They will be welcoming Manchester City, the citizens, the light blue machine.
Both teams to score.
Yeah.
Manchester City to win.
Who's going to score in that game there for Manchester City?
No, the Bulls don't talk that much.
Yeah, they're not releasing too much in terms of info.
No. I think when it comes to this one, I'm not sure who'll score for both sides, but I think both teams will be on the score sheet.
Okay, that's great. That's going to be a BTS there for West Ham and Manchester City. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Diski Preview Show. And my name is yours truly, Mr. E. And this is...
I don't know if I should say Mr. Mo or
Mo.
Mr. Mo.
Mr. Mo.
Yeah. On the Highlands.